When our team leader told me race startup, so forget the clock. After I logged overtime hours, I stayed in the office for 19 straight hours, organizing his 2021 receipts by paperclip color and sent him a Venmo request with a GIF of a melting clock. He called in sick the next day. I moved to Austin, Texas in 2021 with a business degree, a busted 2012 Toyota Camry, and enough naive ambition to fill every tech office on West 6th Street. I had no family in the city, no safety net, and no backup plan, just a job offer. The company was a new fintech startup, bare-bones team, shiny promises. I was brought in as operations associate, but I was really the everything guy. Scheduling, onboarding, contracts, coffee runs, manual data entry. If it didn't fall into someone else's domain, it landed on my plate. My team leader, Brady, was a golden child, mid-30s Patagonia vest, VC slang rolling off his tongue like he invented the phrase scale fast. I thought I was lucky. At first, Brady interviewed me himself. He seemed cool, said he believed in scrappy hustle, that we were building something real. During onboarding, I asked how overtime was handled. His response was one of those condescending chuckles. "This isn't a clock in, clock out kind of place," he said. "We're a startup. We do what it takes." I took that as a challenge. I was 25, hungry, and terrified of failure. So I stayed late, showed up early, said yes to everything. When Brady needed help going through old receipts for a VC audit, I spent 6 hours combing through a year's worth of Uber Eats orders, Amazon charges, and sketchy handwritten meal notes. I logged those hours. Brady corrected my timesheet. "Hey," he said, not even looking up from his MacBook, "don't log admin stuff as overtime. We're a startup. We all pitch in. That's just part of it." I was stunned, but I stayed until 11. "Yeah, but you'll be doing this even if you own the company, right? That's what this team's about." I didn't say anything. I erased the hours. That wasn't the last time. The more I did, the more he expected. He stopped asking. Just started delegating with passive-aggressive Slack messages. "Hey, think you can knock this out tonight? You're the detail guy. Mind sorting this before Monday? Not urgent, but needs to be done by 9 a.m. I worked every weekend for 3 months straight. No bonuses. No thanks. Just startup Kool-Aid and Brady's smug smile in our Monday stand-ups. Then in February I got the flu. Real flu. Fever. Chills. Couldn't stand up straight. I messaged Brady. Said I'd be out for 2 days. His response? "We're all feeling rough, man. It's cold season. Push through." I didn't. I stayed in bed. When I came back, I found out he'd logged my sick time as PTO. Said I didn't follow protocol. When I pushed back, he shrugged. "Startup life, man. If you need a union, you're in the wrong place." That stuck with me. I didn't say anything, not yet. But something in me started to crack. Then came the receipt project. We had an investor call coming up. Brady told me he needed all of his 2021 business receipts categorized and digitized for compliance. He dumped a full Amazon box of receipts on my desk. Not folders, not organized, just a chaotic mess of balled-up paper, coffee-stained invoices, and fast food napkins, with notes scrawled in pen. I said, "Sure. How should I categorize them?" He smirked. "Use your judgment. Just make it look clean. Whatever it takes." Then he added, "And don't log overtime. We're a startup. Forget the clock." Something about that. Forget the clock. It felt like a trigger, a slap. Like he thought I was some idiot intern instead of a grown man trying to build a career. I didn't say anything. I just nodded. That night, I stayed in the office for 19 straight hours. I sorted every single receipt by paperclip color, not by category, not by date, not by vendor, just paperclip color. Red went with red, green with green. If it didn't have a paperclip, I added one, but not randomly. I had a system. Food-related receipts got blue. Gas or transport got yellow. Personal expenses he shouldn't have filed, I gave those bright pink. I made a spreadsheet legend explaining the code. Then I labeled each receipt pile using Brady's name in childish crayon writing. I scanned them all, every receipt into its own PDF, then zipped it into one giant folder and emailed it to him at 4:37 a.m. with the subject line, "Per your request, organized receipts." But I wasn't done. I opened Venmo and sent him a request for $304.72, minimum wage, 19 hours plus tax. In a comment, I pasted a looping gif of Salvador Dali's melting clock. He saw it. He didn't respond. The next day, Brady didn't come in. Called in sick. First time in months. The office was dead quiet. People asked if he was okay. I said, nothing. A few days later, our CEO asked me about the receipts. Apparently Brady had forwarded the folder, but forgot to remove the spreadsheet with my color code. The pink-coded receipts? Those were flagged by the investors. Turns out Brady had tried to expense his ex-girlfriend's trip to Cabo, a $400 dinner at some steakhouse in Dallas with no business purpose, and tickets to a Cowboys game where he posted selfies with friends in hoodies, not coworkers. That spreadsheet I made became part of the audit, and that Venmo request? Some genius from the finance team printed it out and taped it to the break room fridge. I didn't get in trouble, but Brady? Well, Brady didn't show up to the office for 2 more days. No messages, no updates, just OOO in his Slack status and silence in our team thread. Nobody said it, but everyone felt it. Something had shifted. The Monday after his sick days, our CEO, Greg, called a quick sync for all team leads. I wasn't invited, but I noticed 2 things. Brady came in late, looking pale and on edge, and when he left the meeting, he didn't stop to talk to anyone. He beelined straight to his desk and sat there staring at his screen for hours. Around 4:15 p.m., he called me into one of the tiny glass conference rooms. Door closed, blinds down, no smile. Close the door, he said again, even though I already had. He sat across from me, arms crossed, jaw clenched. What the hell was that Venmo request? I kept my tone neutral. I stayed 19 hours, organizing those receipts you dumped on me. You told me not to log overtime. I figured I'd send you the bill directly. You trying to humiliate me? You think you're funny? I didn't blink. No, I think I did exactly what you asked. He stared at me long and hard. Then he leaned back and said, look, I know things have been tense. I've been under pressure too. That audit blindsided me. But you're part of this team. You don't take shots at your team leader. I let the silence drag. Then I said, Brady, I've worked 60-hour weeks for 5 months straight. You cut my sick time, took credit for my work, and treat every task like it's beneath you. I'm not your intern. I'm not your assistant. He leaned forward again, voice sharp. You don't understand how fragile this place is. We're 1 bad quarter from everyone being out of a job, and you pulling petty crap like this just gives people ammunition. You mean the investors? I asked. His eyes flickered. They're watching everything now. That spreadsheet. You made it look like I was hiding stuff. You were hiding stuff. He slammed his hand on the table. That trip was a client meeting. In Cabo? I said. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. He stood, yanked open the door, and hissed, get out. I walked out, but I didn't go back to my desk. I walked out of the office. Took a long drive down 290 with no destination. Just open windows and traffic. My hands were shaking. That night, I didn't sleep. The next morning, Greg, the CEO, asked me to come in early. 7:30 a.m. Just me and him. Small conference room. He got straight to the point. We're letting Brady go. I didn't say anything. He crossed some lines. The receipts were just the beginning. He paused. I wanted to thank you. Quietly. You didn't know it, but you helped protect this company. And I know Brady put you through hell. I nodded slowly. Are you promoting someone else? Greg sighed. We're restructuring. Some departments are merging. But yeah, we'll need someone to help bridge the ops gap. I thought that was the moment everything would turn around. I was wrong. A week after Brady was let go, the company vibe shifted hard. People were on edge. Greg stopped showing up as often. Our office manager quit. Rumors started flying, funding issues, layoffs, another audit. I kept my head down, worked my hours, and avoided the gossip. Then came the bomb. On a Friday afternoon around 5:20 p.m., I got an email from HR. Subject line, contract review. I opened it and saw 3 sentences. Due to changes in business direction, your position is being eliminated. Your final paycheck will include unused PTO. Your account will be deactivated by 6 p.m. No call, no warning, just an email. 6 months of unpaid overtime, 60-hour weeks, and crawling through Brady's garbage. And they canned me in a group layoff. I stared at my screen for a long time. Then I stood up, grabbed my backpack, and walked out of that office one final time. I wasn't mad. Not yet. But that changed the next morning. I got a call from Jessica, one of the engineers who was still at the company. She sounded weird, nervous. "Hey, I just thought you should know. Brady's starting his own thing." I sat up in bed. "What?" "Yeah, he launched a new startup. I saw it on LinkedIn. He's calling it Torchlight Financial. Says it's built on ethics, transparency, and hustle." I felt something crack in my chest. Jessica kept talking. "Here's the worst part. He's got funding from one of the old investors. I guess he spun the whole thing like he was the whistleblower. Said he left because of shady execs. He stole my receipts, my spreadsheet, my revenge, my work, and now he was using it to rewrite the story." I sat there for a while thinking, and then I opened my laptop because Brady wasn't going to get away with it. It started with a LinkedIn post. Brady's smug face, arms crossed in front of some rental co-working space in East Austin with a caption, "After months of watching leadership fail to protect employee well-being, I made the tough choice to walk away. Today, I'm proud to launch Torchlight Financial, a company that values honesty, hustle, and human-first leadership." Hashtag Torchlight, hashtag Startup Life, hashtag Founder Story underneath were dozens of likes and fake congratulations. Most from people who didn't know the real story. But a few names hit harder. One of the old investors, 2 engineers from our old team, and even someone from HR. It was clear he was rewriting history, casting himself as the victim, turning my spreadsheet, my work, into his origin story. That night, I pulled up the folder I'd saved from my time at the company. I had copies of everything, every Slack message, every email, screenshots of him telling me to forget the clock, of the Uber receipts, the Venmo request, even the spreadsheet with my receipt color codes. I didn't want to go nuclear yet, but I wasn't going to let him start fresh while I was left broke, jobless, and invisible. So I started watching. I followed Torchlight Financial's updates. His launch website was flashy, but hollow. Buzzwords, a fake team page with stock photo headshots, a press release that repeated the phrase, "clean break from corporate dishonesty" 3 times. Total garbage. But one thing caught my eye. Brady was offering a free founder seminar at a local co-working space. How to build a hustle-first company without burning out your team. I almost threw my phone across the room. I didn't, though. Instead, RSVP'd under a different name. The seminar was that Saturday. I wore a cap, hoodie, kept my head down, sat in the back row with a notebook, pretending to be some wide-eyed startup hopeful. Brady strutted to the front like he owned the place, still wearing his Patagonia vest, still smirking like the camera was always on him. He launched into his speech all about culture and accountability and ethical management. He said, "At my last company, I exposed some serious leadership issues. It cost me my job, but I had to do the right thing." I wrote down that quote word for word. Then he said, "I once had to stay up all night organizing receipts for an audit someone else messed up. That was my breaking point. I had to bite the inside of my cheek to keep from laughing out loud. That night, I made a burner Twitter account. I posted his quotes next to screenshots of the actual receipts. I uploaded a photo of his pink-coated Cabo vacation receipt next to a public post where he claimed he'd never misused expense funds. I cropped Slack messages showing him pushing me to work weekends and wrote, 'This is a guy who told me we're startups, so forget the clock,' after cutting my sick leave and deleting my overtime hours. The post didn't go viral, but it did get shared, first by a few ex-colleagues, then by a couple of local startup watchdog accounts. Then it started hitting Reddit, r/startups, r/overemployed, r/antiwork, and then someone recognized the name. Apparently, one of the investors backing Torchlight had funded a failed crypto startup that also ended in a scandal. The kind of guy who didn't care about ethics, just optics. I got a DM from a journalist at the Austin Business Review. She said, "I've been following your thread. Would you talk to me off the record?" I said yes. We met at a coffee shop. I gave her everything, documents, screenshots, names, timelines. I didn't embellish a thing. I didn't have to. 2 weeks later, the article dropped. Torchlight Financial's founder accused of fabricating whistleblower story, falsifying receipts at previous startup. They didn't use my name. But every quote, every receipt, every Slack message, it was all there. I expected silence. Instead, Brady snapped. He posted a video of himself, sitting in a parked Tesla, eyes red, voice shaking. "This article is an attack on my character," he said. "It's part of a smear campaign by people jealous of my success." Nobody believed him. Comments lit him up. "You stole your team's work. You fired people and used their pain for your rebrand. You're a walking HR violation." And then it got worse for him. The investor pulled funding. Torchlight site went down 2 days later. Social media accounts wiped clean. LinkedIn updated to say, "Currently exploring new opportunities." And still, I didn't feel done. Because even though Brady lost the company, I lost something too. My job, my savings, my peace. But something else happened I didn't expect. People started messaging me. Not just ex-employees, strangers, dozens. Stories of working for guys like Brady, being silenced, being stepped on. One guy messaged me and said, "That thing with the receipts? I thought I was the only one who went through something like that." And that's when I started writing it all down. Not for revenge, for truth. I didn't plan to keep the story going. I thought the article, the online backlash, the shutdown of his fake company, that would be the final chapter. But life doesn't wrap things up that cleanly. About a month after the Torchlight scandal died down, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Erica. Can we talk? It's about Brady." I just stared at the screen. Erica, that name sounded familiar. Then it hit me. Erica was Brady's wife. We'd never met in person, just heard her name in passing. Erica's out of town, or Erica wants me home early. That was the extent of it. Brady kept his personal life walled off from work. No photos, no stories, no mention of kids. Just him, his laptop, and his ego. I didn't respond right away. I wasn't sure I wanted to get dragged back in. But something about her message, it felt serious. So I called. She picked up on the first ring. "Thank you," she said right away. I didn't know who else to ask. Her voice was tired, worn down. "I saw the article," she continued, "and I recognize your name from old emails." I didn't believe it at first, but then I looked through his laptop. She didn't have to say more. "I'm sorry you had to find out like that," I said quietly. Erica took a deep breath. "I just want to know the truth. Did he really fire people and use it to spin some fake story?" "Yeah," as I said. "And those receipts? Cabo? The steakhouse? All real." She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just went quiet for a long time. Then she said, "We have a 9-year-old son. I don't want him growing up thinking that lying and stepping on people is how you succeed." That hit me harder than anything. We talked for over an hour. I told her everything. What he said to me, what he did behind the scenes. How he tried to twist it all into a personal brand. She thanked me, said she was filing for divorce the next morning. I didn't hear from her again. But 2 months later, I got a Google alert on Brady's name. Yeah, I still had one set up just in case. The headline: "Former startup founder loses custody battle after financial misconduct exposed in divorce case." It was all in the documents. Erica had used everything. The Cabo receipts, the fake expense reports, even screenshots of him mocking former employees in Slack. Some of the same ones I'd sent to the journalist. She didn't just take him to court. She buried him in it. Brady lost custody of his son. Full parental rights stripped. Judge called his behavior manipulative, dishonest, and emotionally unsafe. The tech world turned its back fast. Austin's startup scene is small. Word spreads. He tried to rebrand again, some BS consulting gig. But nobody would touch him. Every time he showed up online, someone dropped the link to the article, or the spreadsheet, or the receipts. He tried to apply for a job at another fintech company a year later. Jessica, my old coworker, now working in senior ops there, called me laughing. He listed Torchlight Financial as founder on his resume, she said. Like we forgot. They never called him back. As for me, life didn't get better overnight. I was unemployed for 4 months, burned through my savings, took some freelance admin jobs just to pay rent. But slowly I rebuilt, got a job with a nonprofit that actually treated people like humans. No all-nighters, no shady expense tricks, just honest work. And you know what? I started sleeping again. No more stress dreams. No more 3 a.m. wake-ups, sweating about missing a deadline or getting yelled at in a Slack thread. I started dating again. I called my mom more. I found pieces of myself I forgot I had. But most of all, I let go of the anger. Not because Brady deserved peace, but because I did. The truth came out. The damage he did caught up to him. He lost the company, his money, his wife, and his kid. And every time he tries to come back, the story is still out there. My story. And that's the part he can never delete.